Right. So we back, and I made mention in the previous video about how a video I did that I couldn't put out because the sound and everything were working. Well, it was about what was going on in Sudan, and sure enough, it was about a ceasefire that the United States government and Saudi Arabia had kind of, excuse me, worked together to form in the region. But talks between Sudan's warring sides fall apart. Let's dive right into it. Both sides accuse each other of violating the humanitarian ceasefires. So we got a ceasefire. We thought it was going to work, but it turns out that both sides have accused the other of doing dirt and not respecting it, and it's over. So I still want to remind everybody that these are the two men that are on the opposing sides. That's General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo on the left, and then the general, he's over the Rapid Support Army, and he's over what's left of the Sudan Army, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. Both powerful forces in that region, and they've been fighting since the 15th of April. You know what I'm saying? 15th of April. Both accusing each other of not respecting the ceasefire. The Sudanese armed forces announced the decision to suspend its participation in talks with the Rapid Support Forces, excuse me for what I said earlier, Rapid Support Forces, a powerful Sudanese paramilitary group, due to RSF's lack of commitment and implementation in any of the terms of the agreement and continuously violating the ceasefire. There's been no comment from, like I said, Saudi Arabia and the United States, because they said the world is watching. That's what our attorney general said. Yo, the world is watching y'all. So like, be respectful. Let's have a ceasefire. Get people to the hospital. Get aid into the people that's left in the region that would like that care, because y'all just done jacked the whole region up. But now there have been no immediate talks, which this whole ceasefire had been mitigated in Saudi Arabia's port city of Jeddah just a couple of weeks ago. In response to the military's move, the RSF said in a statement that it unconditionally backs the Saudi U.S. initiative, and the recent SAF violation have not deterred us from honoring our commitments. The development came after two sides agreed to a 5-day extension of a shaky humanitarian ceasefire that was set to expire Monday evening. So just this past Monday, it was supposed to be over, but we're going to hit the reset on it. Both Riyadh and Washington had expressed impatience with persistent breaches of the week-long truce. So both people who helped put it together had expressed that. Just frustration with the whole thing, and impatience overall. Fighting erupted in the capital Khartoum on the 15th of April, in a culmination of weeks of tension between the general and the commander of the SAF, General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, better known as Hameti, the head of the RSF. The two men were once allies. They both came together at one point, who had jointly orchestrated a military coup back in 2001 that dissolved Sudan's power-sharing government and derailed its short-lived transition to democracy following the oust of the long-time dictator in 2019. Now they are battling for control of the resource-rich North African nation, and neither has shown any real indication of backing down. So just like people have done in the past with Africa, where they dig it up, they digging it up for the resources, don't care who they harming in the process. Here we got two African men who are doing the same thing to the region in the running people. Everybody just running to Egypt. Egypt got a hand in this. Israel, like it's different parties that are still that's back and put money. That's what was in my first story that didn't have the sound. That all of these different people, even now, Saudi Arabia and the United States, like everybody was intervening. I believe in the back, putting their money behind what side they want to see come out on top, and that's still wrong. The conflict has left hundreds of people dead, thousands more wounded, and hundreds and thousands displaced, according to figures from the United Nations. it has also prompted a number of countries, including the U.S., to evacuate personnel from Sudan and stutter diplomatic missions there indefinitely. So we don't know when that's going to pick back up, when anybody else is going to intervene physically. Meanwhile, aid groups have been struggling to get desperately needed supplies into the war-torn country because we can't get a ceasefire in order for them to even get the resources into the people that are left in the region that really don't have nowhere to go. Elderly people and different people like that who are just like in the midst of this because they can't move around like all these people who can just pack up their shit and get going. So y'all let me know y'all thoughts on this story. Sudan continues to war. There continues to be a war in the Sudan over who's going to be in power. And unfortunately, there are no talks of peace right now. The ceasefire did not work. Maybe more forces will come in and try it again in a couple of days. But there's going to be more fighting, more death, and more disrespect. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts on this story coming out of Africa. I appreciate y'all as always. And it's the N.y.a show.